Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to games set in the Horus Heresy. I'm your host, David Brains, and you people out there are so lucky to have Dr. Dan Portes back in the studio today.
You can't keep me away, David. I'm going to camp outside till you let me play again.
I love it. And we have local favourite, Chris Lilly. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm trying to get on the channel. I'm going to try and beat Dan's record eventually.
But yeah.
Come on.
It's going to do him. Chris's first appearance as well, so it's really great to have him here. He plays locally at the club at the channel, so he's got some lovely Sons of Horus. And
Thank you.
And he's brought a lovely list to take on the might that is the Imperial Fists.
Indeed. My latest addition to my collection of armies.
Yeah, and painted in record time as well.
Well, record if you're a bit of a slacker, I suppose.
Oh.
No, but I don't know. It's a thing for me to be able to turn stuff out quite quickly, and I think it helps with consistency as well.
Definitely.
If you spread it out for too long, you end up with units that look different, substantially different from one another.
Totally agree. Yeah, and that's how I paint mine. I buy everything and then I just paint all one colour and then do the next, and you just get that consistency across the board. And I tell you what, we've got two really lovely armies. We've got a lovely green and a lovely yellow, good colours.
Indeed.
I think it'll be quite a visual game today. Now let's talk about the mission because we've got something a bit special today. I say special, a bit different maybe. We've got a thunderhawk has crashed, and the Thalax have that were occupying the thunderhawk. They've built a defensive barrier around it, and they've been holding off enemies' attack for years and years and years. And they're trying to repair it so they can get off the ground, but it looks like a bit of a futile effort because the wings half hanging off, and it's not looking good. So these plucky Thalax have spent defending this thunderhawk. And then we've got these two opposing factions have come in. They want to have a little sniff, see what's going on, and try and take the technology from within the Thunderhawk. So that's what we've come up with. Now, there's a lot of victory points attached to this.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through a couple, Dan?
Yeah. So we're going to play the main objective is to capture the Thunderhawk.
Yes. And
the way we do that is by getting scoring units into the compound. You'll see that when we look at the board.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we said we're going to get 2 points for every scoring unit we can get entirely within the compound by the end of the game.
Yes.
There's a counter to that, however. So obviously, Chris will take us through what that is.
Yeah. So as well as scoring points for ourselves, every denial unit that we get into the compound will take 1 victory point away from the opponent.
Yes.
So you're going to see us try and screw each other over as well as scoring our own objectives.
Welcome to the 31st millennium, people.
And this is in the last. This will be the end of the game, so that's when we'll tot up those victory points. We also have Warlord available, which should always be rewarded for killing a Warlord. We then have Attrition, so if you kill higher enemy units than your opponent, you get another victory point. And then you'll notice that there are 3 units of Thalax within the compound. And what we're going to do is, for every wound that each of these people, or these guys take off, you get a point. So there's 36 wounds available on the table.
Yeah.
So if Dan does 20 wounds, and then Chris does 16 wounds, you will then get a point for taking more wounds off the Thalax and Chris. You'll get the extra victory point.
Yeah.
Now, those were interacts like sentry guns almost, weren't they?
Yeah, we were effectively going to do a end of a battle turn kind of action phase where they'll shoot at the nearest thing they can hurt. So there's a bit of tricksiness about saying, can I kind of lure Chris's units in and then back off so the Thalax can do some damage and vice versa?
Yeah. And just to give you a quick note for people that aren't familiar with Thalax, there's 2 weapons available on the table. So the majority of Thalax got lightning guns, 18 inches, strength 7, AP 4, shred and rending, so they can get through anything in the game. And then the special weapons are photon thrusters, 48-inch, strength 6, AP 2, lance, blind, gets hot. Wow, remember that's quite good, isn't it?
It's almost like you're playing Mechanicum.
Yeah, who knew? So as Dan said, at the end of each player turn, game turn, excuse me, they will randomly move in a random direction and then shoot at that a target that's closest. If we have 2 units that are viable, we'll roll a dice, 1 to 3, it's 1, 4, 5, 6 the other. So that's how that'll work. And that's what we've got. It's quite a unique one, I think.
I think so.
And I think it will certainly make your movement a more of a considered thing.
Puts a new element of tactics into it. It's not just kill each other.
It does.
We've got to be careful where we're putting units, what we're going for, when we're going to do that push for the compound.
Amen. And you'll notice as well, there's a few craters around the table. There's obviously smoke coming up. They are line of sight blockers. So essentially they are just solid and you need to be able to see. And they'll give probably a 5-foot cover save, but we'll work that nearer the time. I love the forces we've got here. We've got armoured breakthrough.
We have.
There's a lot of tanks.
There is. I was saying to Chris just before we started that I've always had a bit of an obsession with anything with tracks. Not quite so much as some of my colleagues at Leicester Fat Cats, but a reasonable one. I used to play Flames of War as well. I used to do Armoured Column. So I've always wanted to do an Armoured Column list. And this, for me, I think is quite thematic. We've got tanks leading the way, but you've also got some infantry support, some air support, and then you've got some fast stuff on the outside, scouting, as it were, for the column.
Yeah. And Chris, you've got a few vehicles, but you've got some heavy weapons. You've got your Arcus and your Toretto.
Yeah, I've got like a few big guns, and I've got the typical, I've got vet squads doing the Sons of Horus thing, outflanking the enemy positions, getting into the right area to then put their Death Dealer rule into effect. So it should be quite even. We've both got fast elements. We've both got some big guns. We've both got fire support.
Yeah.
Could be Battle of the Fire Raptors.
Yeah, those Raptors are good, aren't they?
Yeah.
So many weapons can shoot. 4 weapons a turn, and they're pretty spicy, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a lot of firepower. Of course, as we were also saying, is that there's a lot of stuff that can get killed one hit.
Yeah.
One hit dead.
Yeah, definitely. And those Stalax as well, don't write them off. They can blind troops, so their weapon skill, ballistic skill 1, but then all of their weapons can get into a vehicle and potentially blow it up in a one shot. So, there's going to be a lot of, like we said earlier, a lot of moving around and, trying to get the Stalax to shoot in one direction rather than the other. So it's quite an interesting game, quite a tactical game. We're playing something a little bit more tactical because these blokes are quite well versed in the realms of 30k. You're not beginners, are you?
No,
not by any stretch.
You both know what you're doing, so hopefully.
Allegedly.
You do. I know Chris does. I can vouch for him, but and yourself as well. Obviously, Throne of Skulls winner, Dan.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, now. But still, it's a claim.
Yeah, fair play.
I'd love to hold that trophy myself, but
I'll bring it if you like. You can polish it for a day or something.
Yes. I'm looking forward to this. 2 great guys, 2 awesome armies. Let's see what they've got in their list, and then we'll come back at the beginning of turn 1.
2,500 points of Imperial Fists running the Armoured Breakthrough Rite of War, led by Brother Tancred, driving his Sicaran battle tank, hopefully to victory. Imperial Fist Warlord is my Sicaran battle tank. It's got the Super Heavy Command Tank upgrade as part of the Armoured Breakthrough list, which gives it +1 ballistic skill and allows any units to re-roll failed morale checks within 24 inches of it. In addition, it's got a Dozer Blade, Armoured Ceramite, Auxiliary Drive, and Las Cannon Sponsons. My second HQ choice is a Damocles Command Rhino. Only got a Dozer Blade upgrade on there, but that's essential for me bringing in my reserves as needed. The Elite's choices, first of all, I've got 2 veteran tactical squads with 2 heavy bolters with suspensor webs. The sergeant's got a power sword, artificer armour, and everybody's got melter bombs. They're in a Rhino with a Dozer Blade and a multi-melter on the roof, and they'll be taking the Marksman special rules. Finishing up my Elite's choice, I've got a Contemptor Mortis, provided some anti-air and some just general firepower to the list. He's got 2 Carey's assault cannons, and he's got a Havoc launcher strapped to the top. My compulsory troops for the list are 2 Predator squadrons. I've got 2 individual Predator tanks. They've both got Dozer Blades and Las Cannon Sponsons, which are pretty much the only upgrade you can take for them. In fast attack, we've got 2 separate Javelin attack speeders. They are both armed identically with Cyclone missile launchers, a multi-melter on the pintle, and 2 Hunter-Killer missiles. The final fast attack choice for my list is a jet bike squadron. They're all armed with heavy bolters, and the sergeant's got a power fist too. The first 2 heavy support choices are 2 individual Sicaran Venator tanks. They've got Dozer Blades, and that's pretty much it. The final heavy support choice in my list is a Fire Raptor rocking auto cannon turrets and upgraded Hellstrike missiles.
2.5k of Sons of Horus, led by Delegatus Torgal, running the Rite of War chosen duty. Sons of Horus HQ choice is Delegatus Torgal. He is armed with Artificer armor and Refractor Field, and then his power axe is Master Crafted. He's also been given Melter Bombs to deal with some of these tanks. And his Warlord trait I rolled for is Master Tactician. First and second Elite choices for the Sons of Horus are 2 separate Talons of Contemptor Dreadnoughts, both armed with a Power Fist and a Chain Fist each, and both Power Fists have been upgraded to have Graviton guns. They are also both rocking extra armor. First Troops choice for the Sons of Horus is a 10-man veteran squad. These are armed with 2 melter guns. 3 of the standard veterans have combi melters. Then the sergeant is rocking Combi Melter, Power Fist and Artificer armor. They're riding on board a Rhino with Dozer Blade and Multi-Melter Pintle. And second and third troop choices today, both identically armed. We have 9 veterans. 3 vets have Combi Plasmas. There's 1 plasma gun in each squad also. And sergeants, again, Combi Plasma, Power Fist, Artificer armor. And each Rhino, Multi-Melter Pintle Mount and a Dozer Blade. And then all 3 veteran squads for this game will be taken Machine Killer veteran tactics. Fast attack choices, all are running as separate units. We have 3 Javelin land speeders, each armed with multi-melter, Cyclone missile launcher and 2 Hunter Killer missiles each. The models today are a Tempest land speeders being used as javelins. First heavy support choice, we have a Legion, Sakaran Arcus Strike Tank. The Arcus launcher has been upgraded to have Sky Spear missiles, and there's las cannon sponsons as well as a Dozer Blade. Second heavy support slot, we have a Doradio Dreadnought, upgrade to have an ALOS missile launcher system, just 2 standard twin-linked heavy bolters in the torso, and then it has the Arachnus heavy las cannon battery. And finally, we have the Fire Raptor gunship. It's been upgraded to have 4 Hellstrike missiles, and then both ball turrets have been upgraded to have the Reaper autocannon batteries.
Chris, Dan, we are deployed, ready to go.
We are.
Yeah.
Are you confident you're going to take over the compound of the Thalax there?
I think Rogel Dawn's placed faith in me, and I don't think I'm going to let him down.
Great stuff.
Well, it's a bit misguided. It's going to be for the War Master, let's be honest.
I love it. All right, so at the moment, Dan, you're going first. Is that right?
Yes.
But Chris, you fancy it, don't you?
Yeah, I want this first turn.
Good stuff.
It'll be massive.
Right. Good. Let's have a friendly handshake, gentlemen.
Crack on, mate.
And then Chris, it's all down to you.
Not today.
Excellent news. So that's Imperial Fists, turn 1. Imperial Fists, turn 1 movement. Fairly straightforward deployment, using my fast tank ability to move forward as quickly as possible. I've kept some of my ordnance hidden behind line of sight blocking terrain to minimise some of the firepower coming in from the Sons of Horus. I can't quite outrange him yet. My jet bikes have stayed still. We're going to see if we can take those Thalax units out, get some early wounds on that squad there. And then over on the right-hand side of my deployment area, I've moved one of my Predators and my Venatus forward to try and see if we can get some of the Rhinos and the Contemptors in range for a bit of early damage. Imperial Fist, turn 1 shooting phase. We're going to start with the jet bikes. They're going to open up onto the Thalax squad, see if we can get some early wounds onto the Thalax units. There's 18 shots, and because we're bolters and Imperial Fists have bolter drill, we'll be hitting them on 2s. So here we go, 18 shots. So we've got a few misses in there. And then it's strength 5, Thalax are toughness 5, so we're 4s to wound. And it's AP 4, so there's no armor save from this, but they will get a cover save. So we have 3, 6, 7 wounds on the Thalax.
So that's 7 wounds inflicted. We've agreed with night fighting on and a bit of cover from the barricades. They're going to have a 4+ cover save. And any let go through, Thalax have a 6+ feel no pain against. So we've got 2 fails so far. And then 2 6+ feel no pains. 1 wound goes through.
The Contemptors opened up at the same Thalax squad. Havoc launcher missed completely, but we're going to fire the Cary's assault cannons now, which hopefully will do a bit better. So we're 12 shots, hitting on 2s. Statistically, I always miss 2. And then we're looking at 3s to wound, and 6s are AP2. So we have 7 wounds, including 3 AP2, although they'll still get the cover save against that anyway.
Okay, so again, we're looking at a 4+ cover save, followed by a 6+ feel no pain. 2 more fails this time. And 6+ feel no pain. So that's 5 wounds gone through altogether.
I'll take that. My Warlord is going to, in his Sakaran battle tank, is going to fire at the remains of the Thallax squad, see if we can take out that photon thruster, which is looking quite threatening at the moment. We're going to open up with the accelerator autocannon turret first, which is 6 shots at ballistic skill 5, so hitting on 2s, and it's twin linked. Here we go. Twin linked. Excellent. So that's 6 hits. It's strength 7, so we're wounding on 2s. Obviously, only the 2 wounds, but one of them is AP2.
Okay, so an accelerator autocannon is AP4, so there's no armor saves. So we're going to be looking at a 6+ cover save because it is night fighting this turn, and then a 6+ feel no pain. So 1 save so far, feel no pain, saves the next one.
Very resilient. We've not finished yet, so we've got a heavy bolter to fire at them, which is also going to fire at full ballistic skill because it's a fast tank. Again on 2s. And then wounded on 4s. So that's 2 more AP4 wounds.
Again, we're looking at 6+ cover save, 1 passed, and then 6+ feel no pain. Passed again.
I'm going to get these dice checked, I'm sure. And then finally, we've got a snap firing las cannon from the right hand sponson. So hitting on 6. No, not to be. We're going to take a break from firing at Thallax now and open up on actually some of Chris's army. We're going to start with my first Venator on my left-hand side of my deployment zone. It's going to fire at Chris's Contemptor hiding behind the wall in his deployment zone. The Venator neutron laser is Ordnance 2 and it's hitting on 3s. So here we go, 2 shots on a 3. So that's 1 hit. It's Ordnance, strength 10. Front armour of a Contemptor is 13, so I need 3s or more on either dice. So we've got a pen. We've said we've got a 5-up cover from a variety of things, but +1 for night fighting, so Chris has got a 4-up cover save against that penetrating hit.
Let's see a 4.
Oh, not to be. And then this is AP1, so it's +2. So it's just shaken. Next we're going to fire with the Predator into one of Chris's Rhino transports. We're going to fire full ballistic skill with the autocannon and the left-hand las cannon sponson. The right-hand las cannon sponson, which is firing through terrain and will get a cover, will be snap firing. This, of course, is because he's a fast tank because of the armoured breakthrough list. So we'll start with the autocannon first. 4 shots, hitting on 3s. So we've got 3 hits, and it's strength 7 against side armour 11, so 4s to glance. So we have 1 pen from that, and then 1 las cannon shot hitting on 3, misses, and then 1 snap firing las cannon hitting on 6, misses. So it's just 1 pen to take on a 6-up cover save for night fighting.
Passed.
Unbelievable. Opening fire with my second Venator. We're going to try and take out the Deredeo Dreadnought over here. It's a quite a significant threat to my armoured list, unsurprisingly. So again, it's 2 shots. Ordnance 2, hitting on 3s. Oh, we've got 2 hits. And the first one is strength 10, front armour 13. So we need 3s or more on 1 dice for the first shot, giving us a pen. And a second shot, also giving us a pen. So there's plenty of cover and it's night fighting. So Chris has got 2 4-up saves to make. Ooh, makes 1. So here we go. AP1. 5, weapon destroyed. That could be quite handy. So, should we say 1, 2 for the heavy bolter, 3, 4 for the main las cannon, 5, 6 for the eyeless?
Yep.
Would you like to roll that, Chris?
Yep, let's see me roll my own demise.
5, 6, so the eyeless is gone. We're going to fire now with my second Predator. We're going to fire at the Rhino in the middle, which I believe has got a melter squad in it. So we're going to start with the autocannon first, using 4 shots, hitting on 3s, and then the las cannon on the left-hand sponson hitting on 3s as well, again, because it's fast tank. So autocannon first, hitting on 3s. So we've got 2 hits. It's 4s to glance. Oh, we've got 2 pens, and then I'll roll the las cannon as well. Is a miss. So it's just 2 pens from the las cannons. Chris is getting a 4-up save with intervening terrain and also night fighting.
Cool. So let's see 2 4+. 1 saved.
So just 1 penetrating hit with no addition because it's only AP4. So let's see what we get. 1, so it's just shaken. End of the Imperial Fists shooting phase. Not done quite as much damage as I wanted to do. However,
I think Chris's dice have kept a lot of things alive, including Thalax and his own tanks. Done a reasonable amount of damage though, put some hurt onto some key units, and we'll just have to see if we can weather the incoming storm from Chris's movement and shooting phase for the next turn. Sons of Horus movement phase, turn 1. We've had quite an aggressive push here. Going to make a move towards these Thalax before the Imperial Fists get too many wounds on them, because I need that victory point. So I've got one Rhino just pushed up, its contents stayed inside. That's where my Delegatus is, so I need him to stay alive for a little bit longer. But the second veteran squad with melters have jumped out over the barricade, they rolled well enough. I'm going to put a few wounds into the Thalax. Then my first of my 2 contemptors is going to try and charge for this squad. My Arcus just did a little 6-inch push forward, try and get some shots downrange and to the Venator before it stops me firing. My Dradio snap fire in this turn is just a gentle 6-inch move, looking for a lucky 6. The second contemptor is eyeing up a second squad of Thalax, try and take those out, and again we have another veteran squad. Its contents pushing out of their Rhino, going to try and put some shots into the Predator to try and reduce the firepower coming into me next turn. Sons of Horus shooting phase for turn 1. I'm going to start off with a veteran squad that's just jumped out of their Rhino, making use of their machine killer rules and the fact with Sons of Horus get death dealers, so within 12 inches I'm effectively firing ballistic skill 5. I'm going to unload their combi plasmas and plasma gun into the Imperial Fist Predator. So with combi plasma, because of overheat, I am going to have to roll 1 at a time, so I'll just start on the left and work my way along. So within 12 inches, hitting on 2s, first Marine. That's 2 hits. Second Marine, again 2 hits. Third Marine here gets 2 more hits. Then the Sergeant's combi plasma misses both times, both with overheats. So that's 2 2+ armor saves, or he's dead. He survives, thankfully. And then just the plasma gun itself, again hitting on 2s. So that's 2 more hits. Now plasma being strength 7, but I am machine killer, so I get +1 to the armor penetration roll. So effectively I'm looking at strength 8 against front armor 13, so I'll be looking at 5's glance and 6's to pen. Not the best of rolls, but that is 2 penetrating hits. Doesn't look like there's much cover for the Imperial Fist here, so it's going to be looking at night fight saves.
So 2 night fighting saves on 6 up. Here we go. Boxcars. That's not boxcars.
Okay, so that's 2 successful penetrating hits, AP2 with plasma, so it's +1 on the damage roll here. So we have double immobilised, which will put the 3rd hull point because of the second immobilised result. That's a wrecked Predator. Okay, so after that bit of successful shooting from the veterans, their Rhino is going to try and do the same, put a long-range multi-melter shot into the Damocles Command Rhino. I don't need Imperial Fist reserves coming in any easier. So looking at 3's to hit, because I'm ballistic skill 4. That's a hit. Then it's strength 8, not in melter range, so 3's to glance, 4's to pen. 1 penetrating hit.
So it's with night fighting and intervening wrecked models, it's going to be a 4-up save. So here we go, 1 4-up save. Oh yes!
After checking range, I'm going to have to change targets for the Arcus here, away from the Venator. More guns can come to bear on the Predator, so that's going to be the better shot for me. So I'm going to start off with the Arcus launcher. I have moved, so I don't get to ripple fire, so I'm looking at 4 shots. Ballistic skill 4, so hitting on 3's. That's 3 hits there. Then we are strength 8 with an Arcus launcher against front armor of 13, so 5's will glance, 6's will be penetrating. So that's nothing there that time. And then I'm going to follow on with 1 lascan can see, the other with the smoke clouds doesn't have line of sight. So just 1 lascan hitting on 3's. Hits, strength 9 this time, so 4's to glance, 5's to pen, and that's a penetrating hit.
So with intervening models and terrain and night fighting, that's a 4-up save for the Predator. So 1 4-up save. Oh, not quite.
Okay, so lascan, AP2, so I'm looking at +1 to my dice roll here for the damage table. So 3 becomes 4, so at least it's snap firing against me next turn. Now the Sons of Horus Radio, it is snap firing this turn, but it's going to try its luck. It's going to put 2 long range shots with its Arachnus las cannon down into the Sakaran Venator. So it's 2 shots hitting on 6's. No hits this time. Okay, the Melter Gun veteran squad now has opened up into the Thalax. With Thalax not being their intended target really, they've saved the combi weapons. They've just put 20 bolt gun shots with death dealers, and within 12 inch range that was 20 shots hitting on 2's, wounding on 5's because the Thalax is toughness 5. I've got 6 successful wounds, which Dan's now going to save, 4-up armour saves with a 6-up feel no pains.
Here we go. Let's see if we can do this as well as you did. Here we go. That's an incredible roll. I should have saved that for my own models.
Okay, so now lead Rhino, its content stayed in board, so it's going to try and prove its worth putting a multi-melter shot into the front Predator there. I am within melter range, so as long as this goes through, hopefully it will be successful. Ballistic skill 4, looking for freeze to hit. That's a miss, I talked it up too much there. Then to follow up that try, the second Rhino, it cannot see the Predator, so it's going to have to do a long range shot into the Scar and Venator. It has suffered damage last turn, so I'm going to be snap firing, so it will need a 6 to hit, but it's worth a try. Not this time. Sons of Horus Assault Phase, turn 1. The first of 2 Contemptors has made a successful charge against the Phalanx. 1 hit came through on Overwatch but didn't cause any damage to me, whereas the Phalanx armed with Photon Thruster did roll a 1 for Gets Hot, caused a wound to himself which wasn't saved. Then Hammer of Wrath went through, did wound, but the armor save was passed, so no damage there. So then it's on to my regular attacks at initial step 4, which with 3 attacks base, +1 for 2 weapons, +1 for the charge, gives me 5 attacks on weapon skill 5, so I'll be hitting on 3s. Then with strength 10, I'll be instant deafened on 2s. So here's the hit rolls. 4 hits, that's lovely, and then 2s to kill. That's 4 dead Phalanx. Second combat of the phase was the second Contemptor Dreadnought charging into the Phalanx. Again, made a successful charge. No damage came through on Overwatch, where this time the Phalanx did survive as well. Hammer of Wrath went in, but I failed to wound this time, so now it's going to be 5 attacks again, 3s to hit, and then it'll be 2s to kill because of strength 10 instant death. So all hit this time, then 2s to wipe. That's a whole Phalanx squad wiped out again. Sons of Horus turn 1 summary. After 2 successful combats and taking out a Predator in shooting phase, that's quite a crucial turn for me. A little bit of firepower is limited, but maybe crucially for the end of the game, taking 23 out of a possible 36 wounds from Phalanx guarantees me that victory point for the end. So at the minute I'm 1-0 up, now I just have to survive the Imperial Fist counter punch turn 2.
In the end phase, when we're moving the Phalanx, I did this to myself largely because I rolled all the dice. So the Phalanx moved closer to my Sakaran Venator battle tank, meaning that was the obvious target. Chris rolled the dice, managed to get a single glancing hit on my Sakaran, meaning it's not a hull point. Now, that's a little bit scary, and I've still got these 2 Phalanx looking. When we came to the assault move, they didn't move. We rolled a direct hit, so they've stayed put, looking at me menacingly with a very high-powered laser weapon. Imperial Fist turns 2 movement. The outflankers from the Imperial Fist have started to come on. I have used my Damocles to keep 2 of the units off, specifically the Fire Raptor and one of my veteran squads, although I have brought the 2 Javelins and one of my veteran squads on in order to threaten the Sons of Horus backline. Because my tanks are so fast, I have managed to use the speed to pull back. I'm not overly worried about getting them into the deployment zone at the end of the game. I just want to limit the return fire that's likely to come in. So my 2 Venators have pulled back, along with my command tank, not wanting to get any closer to those 2 Phalanx after they put a hull point on it. Plus the Contemptors from the Sons of Horus are getting quite close. My jet bikes have moved forward slowly. I'm conscious that the Delegatus is in the front Rhino, and if we can pop that open, we might get a juicy kill there to help pull back some victory points in the early game.
I'm going to make use of my Arx's Sky Spear missiles to intercept this Javelin coming in behind me. It's going to be 4 shots, strength 7, so I'm going to be hitting on 3s, and then with front armor 11, I'm going to be hurting the Javelin on 4s. So let's roll to hit, 4 shots, hitting on 3s. So it's all hit, now 4s to glance. The Javelin has decided to jink, it should be pointed out, so it will get a 4+ cover save against this. That's 1 glancing hit total.
And the save. Oh, makes it. Imperial Fists turn 2 shooting. My outflanking marksman vets have opened up onto the Sons of Horus veterans with the plasma squads that killed my Predator last turn. We've got 9 normal wounds and 1 AP2 wound, which has been it was a precision shot, so picked out the sergeant. So if you could take the AP2 save first, I'm assuming you want to do a lookout, sir.
Yep, so I'm going to try and look out, sir. So it's 4+ because I'm not an independent character. He successfully looks this out, so that's 1 member of the squad dead.
And then 9 more wounds. Okay,
so there's 3 veterans. Before it's my veteran sergeants, I'm going to have to go 3 at a time. then work from there. So 3 pluses, 1 dies, 2 more, 1 more dies, another 1, he's dead, so then it's on to the sergeant. So I'm going to go 1 at a time on his 2+ save to try and tank these. He survives, he dies, and then 1 more veteran, success.
Great result from the veterans, they always do me proud. Not only did they manage to kill most of the squad, they've broken their morale as well. A lucky shot taking out the veteran sergeant counted there. What we're going to do now is shoot this Sicaran Arcus with the Rhino multi-melter. So it's going to be a 5-up cover save from intervening terrain if I get a hit first, hitting on a 3. Well, as always he misses. My javelin that outflanked but was forced to snap by the interceptor fire from the Sicaran is now going to see if you can get a lucky couple of snapshots and take some revenge on the vehicle that made it dodge. So we're going to start with the multi-melter first, hitting on a 6. No. Then the 2 cyclone missile launchers, which are twin-linked. So these are strength 8, AP4, standard missile, crack missiles basically. So hitting on 6s. There's 1, and it's twin-linked. Oh no, just 1. We're not going to shoot the hunter-killer missiles yet though, not while we're snap firing. So, hitting the rear armour on a Sicaran Arcus, which is armour value
of 12 on the rear.
Okay, so 4s to glance, 5s to pen. Oh, we've got a pen. I think that's out in the open, isn't it? So, just rolling for damage. We've got a shaken, sorry. So it's snap firing. The outflanking javelin that didn't jink is going to alpha strike the Deredeo. Now the Arcus is snap firing. I'm less concerned about that as an immediate threat. So we're going to open up with the multi-melter first. It's in melter range, and we're going to hit on a 2 because of strafing run. Well, obviously it misses. Then we'll do the 2 hunter-killer missiles, both hitting on 2s. They both hit. And then the 2 cyclone missile launchers firing crack missiles, hitting on 2s, but these are twin linked, so if I roll a 1 again. Don't need to, they both hit. So we've got 4 strength 8 hits. The side armour of a Deredeo is
12 on the side.
So 4s to glance. Blimey, we've got 2 glances and a pen. That's just out in the open there. So
yes, but the Deredeo does have the purveyors, so it does. Sorry, I should say a 5+ invulnerable save from its contempt to atomic shielding.
Okay, so if you could take the 2 the glances first, please.
Yes, that's 2 5+s for the glances. Both go through.
Okay.
And the penetrating hit goes through.
Okay, so it's wrecked. It's only AP3, sorry, so I can't blow it up. The stunned predator is snap firing anyway, so he's going to fire everything into the Delegatus' Rhino right in front of him. See if we can get a lucky couple of hull points, or maybe even a hull point. So the autocannon first, hitting on 6s. Oh, unbelievable, 50% hit rate. And then the 2 las cannons, hitting on 6s. No. So the front armour of a Rhino is 11. The autocannon is strength 7, so 4s to glance, nothing. The Venator is going to have a shot now. I really need to get the Delegatus out because I want to get at the soft, squishy innards of that Rhino. Again, it's 2 shots, ordnance 2, so we're hitting on 3s. Got 1 hit, and it's ordnance, so 2 dice, picking the highest. Front armour is 11, so anything but a 1 really. That's a pen. So it's out in the open, AP1, so this is +2. There it goes. Excellent shot from the Venator, managed to core out the Rhino and do a substantial amount of damage actually to the squad inside. The Delegatus and the Sergeant survived, but crucially 2 combi plasma Marines and a normal Bolt Marine both died. They passed their pinning check, but are still snap firing, having to failing the morale check from receiving a penetrating hit. The jet bikes were hoping to get some shots onto the Delegatus' squad, but Chris rather smartly bailed them out towards the rear of the vehicle, where they're obscured. However, the other veteran squad with the melter guns is in range, and I've got line of sight to some of them, so the jet bikes have opened up on those instead. We've managed to get 8 wounding hits, and Chris is going to take his saves now.
I have 3 basic veterans before my veteran sergeant, so I'm going to go 3 plus armour saves and work my way from there. So 3 pluses, they're all okay. So we go 3 more, 1 dies, then 2 more 3+ saves, 2. With 3 veterans dying out of the squad, that's 25% casualties. Took morale test, but with leadership 9, I've passed happily.
In lieu of any other targets, the Contemptor Mortis has opened up on the Thalax squad.
even launching the Havoc launcher and both Carrier's assault cannons wasn't able to kill both of the models. Chris's saves are on point today. The Sakaran battle tank had to take out the Thalax after losing a hull point last turn to a random photon thruster shot. Had to get rid of it, so I've unloaded everything to it, the accelerator cannon and the las cannons. You'll notice that the model's gone. We managed to take him out, but only just. The second Venator's going to have to take out this Contemptor. It's getting menacingly close now. We're going to open up with the neutron laser beam and try and kill it now. So, hitting on 3s with 2 shots. So it's 1 hit, strength 10, front armor 13. It's ordnance, so 2 dice. We've got a glance, but that's it. So 5 up Contemptor save from the shield.
Yep, so let's see, 5+. Not this time.
Launching the orbital strike from my Damocles Command Rhino quickly before it gets killed. We've targeted the falling back Sons of Horus squad and its Rhino. Managed to get 3 hits after a twin link reroll on the squad itself and 1 on the Rhino. Rolling the 3 strength 8 hits on the Sons of Horus first, needing 2s. So we've got 3 wounds on them, and then a strength 8 hit on the side armor of the Rhino, needing a 3s to glance. We get a pen. So we've got 1 pen on the Rhino. We'll do that first. Giving me a 5, so it's weapon destroyed. So 1, 2, 3 combi bolter, 4, 5, 6 multi-melter. So the combi bolter's gone and it's lost a hull point, and then it's just 3 Marines dead because it's AP3. Imperial Fist turn to shooting review. I think we've done quite well. We've managed to make the Arcus snap fire. We've taken out the Delegatus' Rhino. We've managed to shred one of the veteran squads, and we've put another hull point on the Contemptor that's getting danger close to my lines. We've also got rid of the remaining Thalax, which bizarrely enough were the biggest threat to my Warlord up to that point. All in all, not a bad turn.
Sons of Horus movement phase, turn 2. After some fantastic reserve rolls, aided by the Sons of Horus own rule to reroll 1s for reserves, all 3 javelins outflanking have come in, as has the Fire Raptor, ready to bring its considerable firepower to bear. We've had 1 Rhino just advance up towards the Predator over on the Imperial Fist, right hand side of the board, hoping to get a lucky melter shot. The Plasma Squad at the back is advancing towards the Javelin, hoping that a couple long range shots at the very least can make it jink. Try and help my Arcus survive for at least a turn longer would be lovely. Both Contemptor Dreadnoughts have advanced. The leading one pushing up towards the Imperial Fist deployment zone, likely not going to have a target this turn for charging, but needs to make the advance at the very least. The second one, likewise, unlikely to make much action this turn, but next turn, hopefully, if he keeps pushing up, he can get in amongst the veterans and take them off the board, stop them scoring any VPs. The Arcus has just shifted back 12 inches. I'm already snap firing, so 12-inch movement isn't going to hinder me any further. He's going to just try and be cheeky and put 2 las cannon shots backwards behind himself into the Javelin. Maybe he'll get lucky and take that out. Sons of Horus shooting phase, turn 2, is starting with the snap firing Sakaran Arcus, firing backwards with 2 las cannon shots. The turret cannot fire as I intercepted during the movement phase of the Imperial Fists. So we've just got 2 las cannons hitting on 6s, so let's hope. No luck this time. The Sons of Horus veteran squad that last turn had bundled out the destroyed Rhino has aimed some long range shots into the Javelin, actually unsuccessful. So the plasma gun managed to get 1 hit, killed himself in the process though with an overheat. Then 2 combi plasma shots were long range, both missed, both overheating, the regular veteran killing himself, the sergeant surviving. So all I've got to roll for is just 1 plasma hit, which is effectively strength 8 because of Machine Killer. So that will be freeze to glance, force to pen. The Imperial Fist have decided to jink. So let's see if we do any damage. So that is a penetrating hit at AP2.
Okay, so 4 up jink. Oh, he makes it.
Makes it. And then we had 3 bolt gun shots went through. Usually wouldn't be able to hurt a Javelin, but with Machine Killer against vehicles they effectively become strength 5. So I'm looking for 6s to glance. Nothing this time. The second Sons of Horus veteran squad currently holding their position within the compound. Just going to put some long range bolt gun shots, again making the most of the marksman special rule for being veterans. Downrange into the Javelin, which is already jinking. So I've got 5 shots. we're hitting on 3s because I'm not within range for death dealers. So it's 3 successful hits. Then with machine kill, I'm effectively strength 5, so I'm looking for 6s to glance. So it's an unsuccessful bit of shooting there. The pushed forwards Rhino from the Sons of Horus is going to put a multi-melter shot into the Imperial Fist Predator. It is just within melter range, so it's 3s to hit, and then let's see if we can do some damage. So it's got a successful hit. And strength 8 within melter range, so 2d6. So that's a penetrating hit. With the smoke cloud in the way obscuring my vision, the Predator will get a 5+ cover save.
Oh, and he makes it.
The first of the 3 outflanking Sons of Horus Javelins, coming in on the left hand side from my deployment zone, is going to put some shots into the side of the command Sakaran. So I'm going to start with the multi-melter, using strafe and run, hitting on 2s. That's a successful hit.
Now the command Sakaran has armoured ceramite.
Okay, so strength 8, no benefit for melter, which would have been out of range anyway. I'm looking for 4s to glance, 5s to pen. Nothing with the multi-melter. Then to follow that up, I'm going to go both hunter killer missiles, again with strafe and run, hitting on 2s. So that's 1 successful hit. Then I'll roll the cyclone missile launch system as well, as they're the same strength from an AP. So 2s to hit, these are twin linked however. So that's 3 hits altogether. Strength 8, again, side armor is 12, so I'm looking at 4s to glance. That's 1 glancing hit. The second Sons of Horus Javelin is going to try and finish the job here. It is the Warlord for the Imperial Fists, and it has considerable firepower, so really I need this Sakaran dead. So again, I'm going to unload with every weapon, just to make sure I finish the job. I'm going to start with the multi-melter, hitting on 2s with strafe and run. So I have a successful hit. With armoured ceramite, I don't get bonus to armour penetration, so I'm just looking for a 4 to glance. Nothing with the multi-melter. So then I'll go for 2 hunter killer missiles, hitting on 2s with strafing run. So that's 1 successful hit. And then 2 crack rockets from the cyclone missile launcher system. 2s, so that's 3 successful hits again. Strength 8, looking for 4s to glance. That's 2 penetrating hits this time. I'm only AP 3, so I cannot make it explode, but it is a wreck. Seeing the success of its brethren javelins, the final and third javelin is going to try for a shot into the side of the Sakaran Venator, which I am very close to, so hopefully it doesn't explode and damage myself. Start with the multi-melter, hitting on 2s. I have a successful hit. There's no armoured ceramite this time, so I'm looking for 8 plus 2d6 for armour penetration. So with side armour 12, that is a penetrating hit. I'm AP 1, so it's plus 2 for the damage roll here. So that's immobilised so far. Then I'll go straight onto 2 hunter killer missiles, hitting on 2s. 1 successful hit. And then 2 crack rockets from the cyclone system, again hitting on 2s. Twin linked this time. So that's 3 hits yet again. 4s to glance, 5s to pen. Nothing this time, so only an immobilised result. That could be crucial. On the right hand side of the Sons of Horus deployment zone, the Rhino, whose vet squad has already been decimated, has just put 1 multi-melter shot into the opposing Imperial Fist Rhino. Successful hit, successful penetrating hit, which is now going to roll for the damage table. AP 1, so plus 2 to whatever I roll. So that is an explosion. With a successful piece of shooting there, the Rhino has exploded, however the ensuing explosion has not caused any further casualties on the vet squad outside of it. The final bit of shooting for the Sons of Horus is the Fire Raptor coming in. We've declared all shots before anything was rolled. So the right hand side from the Fire Raptor's point of view, Reaper autocannon battery fired down into the veteran squad, killing 2 basic marines. They've passed their morale test, which we've already rolled for. The Avenger bolt cannon was only looking just to see if he could maybe take 1 or 2 out with very good luck, which he did get, it has to be said, I'll admit that freely. So I've actually killed 2 of the jet bikes and they chose to jink, which could be massive for me. Then still to come, we've got a Reaper autocannon on the right hand side, will fire into the Javelin that's outflanking me, just to try and take some heat off of my Arcus. And finally 4 Hellstrike missiles will come down into the so far intact Sakaran Venator. The Reaper autocannon battery is now going to fire down into the Javelin. Strafe and run will not help here, as the Javelin is a fast skimmer, so I'm looking for 3s to hit, although they are twin linked. So reroll the 1. That's 4 successful hits. The Javelin, of course, it should be noted, is already jinking from previous firepower. Well, at strength 7, I'm looking for 4s to glance. That's 2 glancing hits.
And then 2 4-up jink saves. Makes 1, fails 1.
The very last shots of the Sons of Horus turn will be 4 Hellstrike missiles, firing down long range into the thus far intact Sakaran Venator. Strafing will come into effect again here, so I'm looking for 2s to hit. That's 4 successful hits. These are Strength 8 AP2 with the Sunder special rule, so I'll be looking for 5s to glance, 6s to pen, and I will get a reroll for any unsuccessful attempts. So let's see what we manage. So far that's 2 glancing hits. Reroll these 2, it's just 2 glancing hits. Some fantastic shooting there this phase from the Sons of Horus. Very nearly took out some extra targets as well, although whole points off, the 2 Venators nearly dead. A veteran squad starting to be whittled down. I cannot complain at this.
Imperial Fist, turn 3 movement. We weathered the storm of the Sons of Horus Fire Raptor coming on, and it's time to dish out a bit of pain of my own. I've moved up the javelins to get them out of range of some heavy bolter fire, but also put some hurt and finally finish off that Arcus, hopefully. My second reserve squad of tactical veterans has come on this side, so I'm hoping to eliminate the rest of this squad and then prepare for the Contemptor countercharge, basically. My Damocles has moved up to get away from the javelins, although they're so fast it's unlikely I'll be able to escape them if they really want to put some pain on me. My jet bikes have moved up to intercept one of the javelins over in the corner to see if we can take that out. My remaining scoring predators moved into the deployment, into the capture zone, so hopefully going to get some points there by keeping them safe and taking out something. Venators moved up as well. We've got a cheeky shot into the rear of this threatening Contemptor. Critically though, my Fire Raptor's come on, and it was going to see how the Sons of Horus like a Fire Raptor. Imperial Fist, turn 3 shooting. We're going to start with my jet bike squadron, which Jink likes to turn, so I'll be snap firing, taking a few cheeky shots into the javelin before maybe assaulting them as well. So here we go. It's 12 shots, hitting on 6s. We have 1 hit so far. It's strength 5 and it's got a front armour of 11, so I need a 6 to glance. Or not to be. My Predator that's moved into the deployment zone, into the capture zone, sorry, is going to have its shots now at the remaining active Rhino. We're going to fire full ballistic skill with the autocannon and 1 las cannon and snap fire the second one. So the autocannon first, hitting on 3s, getting 3 hits, and then las cannon firing on full ballistic skill, hits, and then the snap firing las cannon, ooh, not quite. So we have 3 autocannon hits, strength 7, front armour 11, so needing 4s to glance. We have 3 glances, and then 1 las cannon glancing on a 2 is a pen. So it's called out from the glances anyway, there's no cover save. So this is just a d6 damage roll from the las cannon to see if it explodes. So 6 or more and it goes boom. Ooh, no. The Venator that survived the outflanking javelin last turn is moved up and has managed to get a nice shot into the rear of the threatening Contemptor that's looking rather worryingly at my veteran squads. We're going to have a shot at that now with its neutron laser and see if we can take it out. So we've got 2 shots hitting on 3s. Got both hits. These are ordnance, so the first one is 10, so this is an automatic pen, in fact for both hits. So just to prove the point, that's 14. Second one is a 14 as well, so that's 2 pens. There's a cover save for Chris to take.
Yep. So I'll try and make my 2 5+ cover saves. 1 passed, but 1 does go through.
Okay, I'm rolling for damage. This is +2. So it's just shaken, but it loses a whole point. In addition, the heavy bolter's in range. It's got a snap fire because the neutron laser's an ordnance weapon. So 3 shots needing 6s. Oh, no. The javelin that jinked last turn is going to snap fire into the Sakaran Arcus, see if we can't take it out. Unlikely, but it's worth a try. So the multi-melter on a 6. No. And then 2 cyclone missile launchers on 6s as well. No, but it's twin linked. No, not to be. After the speculative shot, I'm now going to use my javelin that didn't jink last turn in order to take it out. This has also held on to its 2 hunter killers so far, so we're going to alpha strike it and see if we can't take it out of the game once and for all. So starting off, hitting on a 2 with the multi-melter. We've got a hit, and then 2 hunter killers hitting on 2s. 1 miss, and then 2 cyclone missile launchers hitting on 2s. They're twin linked. They both hit. So we have 1 multi-melter in melter range. Rear armor's 12. Strength 8, so we need 4 or more to glance. So we've got a pen from the multi-melter, and then the 3 missiles, all of the same profile, strength 8, AP at 3, are hitting, damaging it on a 4 up with a glance, or 5s or more to pen. So we've got 1 glance, 1 pen, and 1 pen from the multi-melter. That's effectively wrecking it, but we need to see if it blows it up, because it could damage my javelins. So, multi-melter hit, this is +2, is a 7, so it does go bang. The exploding Sakaran Arcus did catch my jinked javelin, however it's front armor 11, so actually even with a 6 it would only be a 10, so it couldn't hurt it. I need to eliminate the threat from this Contemptor heading towards my veteran squads. Obviously it'd tear a huge hole in them if I don't. So I'm going to fire my veterans Rhino's multi-melter into the front of the Contemptor. We're in melter range, so as long as I get a hit, we might get lucky here. So hitting on a 3. Oh, it hits. Front armor 13. I need 5 or more on these 2 dice to get a glance. And that's a pen. So the Contemptor gets its 5 up save. Oh,
Cocked dice.
No. And then D6 +2. Oh, there it goes. Last chance of glory for my disabled Venator is going to have a shot into the remaining Contemptor from the Sons of Horus. It's only got 1 hull point left. But I think if the Venator doesn't kill it this turn, then the javelins surrounding it are probably going to finish it off. So we'll take that shot now. 2 shots, Ordnance 2, hitting on 3s. Both hit. First one, needing a 3 with Ordnance, get a pen. And the second one is also a pen. So it's 2 pens on that Contemptor.
Okay, that just gives me 2 5+ invulnerable saves from my shield. 1 passed.
Nearly makes it. So it's wrecked anyway because it's already got 2 hull points. But let's see if it goes boom. And no, it doesn't. It's just wrecked. I'd originally intended to bolt gun the Contemptor in the rear armour facing with my veteran tactical squad. However, the Venator did its job, and so I was able to use a different target. I was then able to put the Pain downrange with my bolt guns into the Sons of Horus veteran squad with the melters, leaving only 3 of them left. So it's going to be a morale check for them, and I think that might be quite significant. Finally, we're going to shoot with the Fire Raptor. In essence, the missiles are going into the enemy Fire Raptor. The 2 ball turrets are going to target a couple of javelins in my back lines, and the Avenger Assault Cannon is going to try and take out the Delegatus squad. And we're going to start with that first. So, the Avenger Assault Cannon is 7 shots, hitting on 2s with strafing run. And so let's see how many we get. That's all hit. And then it's 2s to wound and 6s are AP2. So we have 2 AP2 wounds and 5 normal ones. If you would take the normal wounds first, please.
Okay, so it's AP3, so it ignores my armor saves. I've got 2 veterans before anyone else special. I elected to go to ground, so they will get a 6+ cover save against this. So 2 6+s, both fail, so that's the 2 regular veterans dead. And then at this point, I'm going to just try and ride my luck and tank it on my Delegatus. So 2 at a time, because he has 2 wounds. So 2 2+s, successful. Last one, 6, takes a wound from that. And then I have AP2s. So at this point, I am going to be a coward and look outside these away. So 2+s because he's an independent character. Both successfully looked out. So I'm going to do a 6+ go to ground save on my regular veteran, and then if he survives, he'll take the second. If not, it'll be on this veteran sergeant. He dies, and the sergeant also dies.
The first ball turret targets the javelin surrounded by my jet bikes. Managed to get 4 hits, but only 1 glancing hit. And Chris is going to take his jink save now.
Yep. So 1 4+ save goes through.
The second ball turret is equally successful, probably a bit more so actually, because it's in the rear armour of the target. I've managed to get 3 penetrating hits. So Chris is going to take his jink saves against these.
Yep. So 3 4-ups. Let's hope we make all of them.
Oh!
I do.
Finally, we're going to shoot with the 4 Hellstrike missiles into the Sons of Horus Fire Raptor, see if we can't shoot it down. They're hitting on 3s, obviously, because it's a flyer. 4 dice, strength 8, with Sunder. So here we go, on 3s. So we've got 3 hits, and then needing 4s to glance with a reroll for Sunder if we fail. So we've got 1 pen, 2 pens, and Chris is going to take his jinx save.
Yep. So after that successful bit last turn, let's see if I can get 2 more 4+. Make 1.
Okay, and the damage result, this is plus nothing. Just shaken. So snap firing. Imperial Fist Assault Phase turn 3. I wanted to get a multi-charge in by catching both the remaining veteran from the Sons of Horus and also the Rhino. However, I failed it, as I often do, with a 5 when I needed a 6. So no charge there. No damage from the Overwatch though. In other assaults, my jet bikes have closed in with the Javelin Land Speeder, and we're going to use the Sergeant's Power Fist as the main strike, and then my 3 other jet bikes are going to use a crack grenade rather than melter bombs in order to attack it. So, with Grav Backwash, we're hitting on 5s basically. So these are all the same thing, so I'll do the crack grenades first. So hitting on 5s. So we've got 2 hits there, and then the Sergeant gets 2 base plus 1 for charging. Hitting on 5s. He gets nothing. So 2 crack grenades, strength 6, needing 5s or 6s to glance, 5s to glance, 6s to pen. And we've got the glance, so that's wrecked it. Imperial Fist turn 3 roundup. I think that was quite a devastating turn for me. There's still a fair amount of Sons of Horus firepower on the board, but significantly quite a lot of it's jinking, and therefore snap firing this turn. The Sons of Horus infantry is down to the bare bones, and the Delegatus is stood out on his own, looking a bit wary, to be honest. So it's looking a lot better at the end of turn 3 than it was at the start of turn 3 for the Imperial Fists.
Sons of Horus movement phase, turn 3. A lot of my units have died at this point, so it's been quite brief. 1 Javelin that's already been jinking has just advanced a little bit, keeping it at the 24-inch range of its multi-motor. Just going to probably put a couple of snapshots into the Raptor and hope I get extremely lucky. The main bit here is the other Javelin's going to try and take out one of the Venators, because they've just survived far too long in this game so far. At the other end of the battlefield, where my army started, it's looking a lot more bleak. There's very little left, but the Fire Raptor is done an advance up. It's going to make use of Machine Spirit and just try and put a gun to bear. So I've brought it in a position where it can put a ball turret one way and then fire elsewhere with its Avenger. The veterans have only shifted around inside the compound a little bit. I just need them to survive to get these victory points. And my poor Delegatus, having gone to ground, has to remain where he is. Sons of Horus shooting phase on turn 3. The first unit to fire will be the snap firing Javelin. So he's just going to try, while he's snap firing, he may as well fire at the Raptor. I'm going to start with a multi-melter, will of course be hitting on 6s, and then 2 twin link crack rockets after that. So let's have the multi-melter first on a 6, misses, and then 2 crack rockets, 6s, but it is twin linked at least. It's 2 hits, who would believe it? And then with strength 8, I need 4s to glance and 5s to pen, as a Raptor is 12 armoured all round. No such luck with the damage penetration, unfortunately. Second to fire this phase will be the Javelin, which did not jink last turn. Just going to put its multi-melter and then 2 twin link crack rockets into the back of this Venator, try and finish it off, as it's been a thorn in my side throughout the game. So let's start with multi-melter, hitting on 2s thanks to strafing run. That's a successful hit. Without armoured ceremony, I'm looking at strength 8 plus 2d6 for the armour penetration. So that's a penetrating hit. Then this is AP 1, so it's plus 2 to whatever I roll here. That's a 1, so it's snap firing. Then I've got 2 twin link crack rockets to follow up, so hitting on 2s. It's 1 hit with twin linked, so that's 2 successful hits. With strength 8, I'm looking at 4s to glance, 5s to pen. That's 1 glance, 1 pen, which finishes it off. I can't make it explode. On this side of the battlefield, the 1 lone Sons of Horus veteran tried his luck. He threw a frag grenade into the midst of the veterans, but unfortunately Scatus were only hit 1, which then it failed to wound. And the Rhino, with his multi-melter surviving, put 1 shot in, it hit, it wounded. It's a dead Imperial Fist, but it's not really enough as I hoped. The 3-man Sons of Horus veteran squad put 3 singular bolt gun shots each down long range into the Imperial Fist tactical squad. They got some hits in, but the 1 wound that went through was saved on armour. With a final bit of shooting for this phase, the Fire Raptor Snapshot him because it was jinking, but his Avenger cannon down into the car Invenator. Got 2 hits with the 6s, but then couldn't quite roll it again to get through the armour. But then, more importantly for this phase, maybe for the game, I've used Machine Spirit to fire 1 Reaper autocannon battery at full ballistic skill into the Fire Raptor. 4 hits went through, only 1 penetrating, but then unfortunately for the Imperial Fist, the Fire Raptor has failed its Jinx save. The damage table result came up as a 4, which for a flyer, because they always have to move on a 1 or a 2, it will just crash and burn.
Okay, so here's the test. Hopefully not 1 or a 2. It's a 5.
At the end of turn 3 for the Sons of Horus, with that early start taking up Phalanx and getting the Warlord kill, I am ahead on victory points as we stand. But as you may notice, there's far more yellow on this board than there is sea green now. So for me, it's a case of riding out the attrition that the Imperial Fists are putting to bear and just seeing what happens.
Imperial Fist, turn 4 movement. Everything's looking a bit cagey. I've got lots of vehicles on like 1 hull point, and there's still some heavy weaponry on the board. So I've moved up with the Venator to try and get a instant death kill on the Delegata, see if I can't get a Warlord kill. I don't even know if there's a guy in the sight there, but anyway, we'll come back to that in a moment. My Fire Raptor, after surviving nearly crashing last turn, has swooped down a minimum distance it can go and still be zooming to try and catch some Sons of Horus in its gun sights. My Javelins have moved forward. This is as much preparation as to get them into the capture zone by the end of the game, but also to bring their weapons to bear on Sons of Horus Marines and finish those squads off. My Veterans, knowing that I roll abysmally for any kind of charge roll, I've moved them as close as they can get so as not to fail. And then also I brought my Damocles Command Rhino into the zone to be a denial unit. The second one I've left still so I can maximise its firepower. Finally, over this side of the board, I've moved my Predator and Contemptor Mortis, along with my jet bikes, to put as much firepower as I can into the remaining 2 Sons of Horus Javelins. The Fire Raptors are thorny aside from the Sons of Horus. However, I'm just going to have to ride that storm out for the time being, because I don't think there's much I could do to bring it down at this stage. Imperial Fists, turn 4 shooting. I've started with my Damocles Command Rhino. It's only got the Combi Bolter left on top, but it's probably enough to take out that remaining Sons of Horus veteran. I've got 2 hits, 2 wounds, and now Chris is going to take his saves.
So 2 3-ups. Let's hope he makes both these. No, he perishes, unfortunately.
My Veteran Tactical Squad has opened up on the 3 remaining veteran Sons of Horus Marines with their melter guns. I've managed to get 3 normal wounds and 1 AP2 wound, and the AP2 wound was a precision shot against the Sergeant. So Chris is going to take that save first.
Yep, I did elect to go to ground because I was expecting some substantial firepower again. So on the Sergeant, I've just got a 6+, go to ground save. So at that point, I'm going to look out Sir to a normal veteran instead to try and keep my Sergeant in the game. So I need a 4+ here. That does fail, so it is on the Sergeant, so he's got a 6+ to save himself. Which he does, miraculously. Then there's just 3 armour saves into the Veteran Squad. They're all pretty equidistant, so I'm going to go 2 3-up saves, and then if needs be, onto the Sergeant. So they both pass, so 1 more 3+, which also passes.
My Javelin has taken the shot with its crack missiles from its Cyclone missile launchers and multi-melter. I've got 3 hits, 3 wounds against the squad. Chris is going to take the AP3 wounds first, but of course he's gone to ground and he's behind the wall, so he's got a 3-up cover, sorry.
So I'm going to go for the regular vet first and then see what happens, because obviously the Sergeant is second in line. So 3+ cover save, pass, so we'll take the second AP3 one on a 3+. That fails, so then it's on to the Sergeant, which is an AP1 wound, so he's going to try and look out Sir, and then we'll do the cover save for whichever guy it lands on. So he passes his lookout Sir, so it's on the other veteran Marine, 3+, fails, just leaves the Sergeant in that squad.
The second veteran tactical squad's opened up on the remaining Sons of Horus Sergeant, managed to get 3 wounds in combination from all the weapons fire, and Chris is going to take his saves now.
Yep. The Sergeant's wearing Artificer plate, so this will be 3 2+ saves to keep himself in the game, which he passes.
The veteran tactical squad's Rhino, with its multi-melters, managed to take another hull point off the remaining Rhino from the Sons of Horus, getting a stunned result. So it's not moving, it's snap firing with its remaining weapon. But it's a shame it didn't kill it, but there we are. My Fire Raptor is going to fire now, and it's going to start with the Machine Spirit Avenger bolt cannon into the Delegatus, who's already lying face down. One of the waist-mounted ball turrets on the right-hand side of the vehicle is going to fire at the Sons of Horus Raptor, snap firing of course, and then the remaining ball turret is going to fire at the Sons of Horus veteran sergeant who's left in the deployment in the capture zone. Okay, so firing with the Avenger bolt cannon first. It's 7 shots. Machine Spirit means it's hitting on 2s, and it's twin linked. And then we're looking for 2s to wound. 6s will be exciting. So we have 2 AP2 wounds and 5 normal wounds. So if you could take the, might as well take the AP2 wounds first, because he's gone to ground, hasn't he?
Okay, so in this case his refractor field will be better, so I'm looking at 2 5+ invulnerable saves. He passes 1 and fails 1, which he had taken a wound earlier in the game, so that is actually him slain.
The Fire Raptor has managed to get a couple of wounds on the remaining tactical veteran sergeant. Not enough to penetrate his artificer armour though, unfortunately, so he's still alive. The 4 shots into the Fire Raptor, Chris opted not to jink, and we got close with a hit, but he wasn't able to penetrate or glance, so it's still flying. The Jetbike Skyslayer squad is opening fire on the furthest javelin from the Sons of Horus. We've got 12 shots, 3 shots from each bike. Because of bolter drills, we're hitting on 2s, and then we'll be needing 6s to glance. So here we go, 2s first of all. So we've missed a few there, but we've still got 9 hits, and then looking for 6s. So we have 1 glancing hit. My Contemptor Mortis has opened fire at the second javelin next to my Warlord Sakaru, which is now a smoking wreck. Managed to get hit with the Havoc launcher but not do any damage. The Carey's pattern assault cannons, however, did a really nice job. I've managed to get 2 pens and a glance, and Chris is going to take the glance jink save first.
Yep. So this time, of course, as was said, I did elect to jink as the higher strength weaponry. So 4+ to get rid of this glance, which is successful, and 2 penetrating hits, again needing 4s. Both go through this time though.
Okay, so that's wrecked, isn't it? It was a speculative attempt, but my Predator tried to take out the Fire Raptor, snap firing its auto cannon and a single las cannon at its target. Unfortunately, couldn't get a single hit, and so Chris hasn't jinked, so it's still a viable tool for next turn for him. My final javelin, again, had a speculative shot at the Sons of Horus Fire Raptor. This time we managed to get a hit with the multi-melter and with a single crack missile. So we've got 2 penetration rolls to make. I'll do the multi-melter first, because that's going to be AP1 if it manages to get through, and then we'll do the crack missile. So, multi-melter first. Strength 8, so it's 12 all the way around on the Fire Raptor, so I need a 4 to glance or a 5 to pen. So it's a glance from the multi-melter, and a pen from the missile launcher. So the missile launcher damage, we're looking for high numbers here. 6, it's immobilised. Having checked some of the lines of sights, we've realised there's a cover save applicable to this. So Chris is going to take the 2 cover saves, 1 for the glance, 1 for the penetrating hit, which we've already established as an immobilised result. So, Chris, if you'd like to take 5 up cover save for the glance first.
Of course.
Which he makes. And then the pen, which he doesn't. So, it loses a whole point and it's immobilised. Because it's a zooming flyer and it's got an immobilised result, the net effect is that on a 1 or a 2, the vehicle crashes and burns. On a 3+, the result becomes stunned instead of immobilised. So I'm going to roll that now. A 1 or a 2, and it crashes. No, just a crew stunned.
Sons of Horus turn 4. There was only 2 models in the whole army that could move this turn. So the Fire Raptors advance, try and get as many guns to bear as possible. And my 1 remaining javelin is pushed forwards, the full 12. Going to try and look to get rid of 1 Predator at the very least. If I get something else this turn, bonus, but I need to start doing something. Then first shot this turn will be my veteran squad sergeant who had gone to ground. He's just going to do a cheeky snap fire with his combi melter, because he's not made use of it yet in this game, up into that Fire Raptor. So he'll need a 6 to hit. So let's just see if we can manage to get lucky here. So 6s to hit. Not quite. Then following on from this, the 1 surviving Rhino on the far edge of the board Just going to put its one multi-melter shot into the Damocles Command Rhino. So freeze to hit. So I do get a successful hit. And then armor penetration. I'm within melter range, so 2d6 plus 8. So it's a penetrating hit. There should be 5 plus cover save there at minimum.
Nope.
So then, with this being melter, it's plus 2 to the dice roll. 4 becomes 6, mobilised. It's a start at least. And then we're going to have our Sons of Horus Fire Raptor, which really needs to do the business here for me, I have to admit. So with the fact that I'm only snap firing, I'm going to make use of Machine Spirit to put one Reaper autocannon battery at full ballistic skill into the side armor of the Predator within the compound, and the second snap firing autocannon battery is going to go behind itself slightly into the Imperial Fist Fire Raptor. So starting against the Predator, as this is the one I really need, as the Predator is of course a scoring unit. So with Strafe and Run, I'm hitting on 2s thanks to the fact that Machine Spirit lets me fire at full ballistic skill still. So that's 4 successful hits. Then I'm Strength 7, and the Predator only has side armor of 11, so it's 4s to glance and 5s to pen. That's 2 penetrating hits on a Predator that's already taken a hull point, which is a lovely result for me. After that success there, the second Reaper autocannon battery, this time will be snap firing, is going to fire into the Imperial Fist Fire Raptor. See if we can get the same result. This time 6 is the hit, but I am twin linked at least. 1 hit so far there, then twin linked. That's 1 hit altogether. Again, strength 7, a Fire Raptor being rear armor 12. Needed 5 to glance or a 6 to pen. It's a glancing hit.
And 4 jink save makes it.
Final bit of shooting for the Sons of Horus. Going to be more last javelin, firing its multi-melter, and then 2 twin link crack rockets into the Imperial Fist Mortis Contemptor. Going to open up with the multi-melter first, followed by the crack rockets. So strafe and run, I'm hitting on 2s. So the multi-melter hits. I am not in melter range, so it's just straight up 4s to glance, 5s to pen, being inside armor. So that is a penetrating hit. I'll do the 2 crack rockets now, and then we'll get Dan to do the invulnerable saves afterwards. So 2s to hit with the crack rockets. It's 1 hit, and it is twin linked. So 2 hits, again strength 8. So we have 1 glance this time. So then Dan will now make his saves.
Okay, which way would you like me to do it?
The glancing hit first, please, sir.
So the glancing hit is saved, and the penetrating hit is not saved.
Okay, so that's a successful penetrating hit with a melter, so it's AP1, so plus 2 to this dice roll. 3 becomes 5. It's a weapon destroyed, which could be crucial in the later turns. So should we go 1, 2 is the left Keres, 3, 4 is the right, and then 5, 6 will be your Havoc launcher.
Yeah.
So let's see which weapon has gone. It's the right hand side Keres assault cannon. End of Sons of Horus turn. With not many units, this is about as good as I could hope for, to be honest. I've taken out a scoring unit, done a little bit more damage elsewhere. Just need to carry on holding on throughout this next turn. Maybe the 6th if we get there.
Imperial Fist, turn 5 movement phase. In essence, we're getting towards the end of the game now, so I'm just piling as many units as possible into the compound in order to secure as many points and deny as many points as I can based on the mission. My jet bikes have decided that remaining javelin needs to die, and they've moved into trying to accomplish that. My Fire Raptor, having jinked, is just circling the board, but everything else has pretty much jumped into the deployment area, into the compound, in order to capture as many points as possible. Imperial Fist, turn 5 shooting phase. Having mentioned that I wanted to get rid of that remaining javelin, we've started off with the jet bikes, opening up with their heavy bolters, covering it in rounds, but only getting 1 glancing hit. It should be enough to destroy it though, but Chris has elected to jink, so he's going to make that save now.
Yep. So I need this 4+, come down to my last hull point. No, that loses it as well.
Continue on with my shooting phase. We're moving on to my Contemptor Mortis that lost an arm in the last phase. It's still got 1 good arm though, and it's going to use that to try and take out the Fire Raptor. We have 6 shots, hitting on 6s. It's not in its helical targeting array, so hitting on 6s, no hits. In an effort to try and kill the Fire Raptor, which has been an absolute thorn in my side throughout the entire game, even the Venator is going to have a go. So we'll start off with the Ordnance Cannon first. 2 shots, hitting on 6s. Oh, we've got 1. It's 2 dice, it's strength 10, so I need 2s or more to glance on either dice. So that's definitely a pen. Chris is going to take his Jinx save.
Come on, 4+. No, not
Oh
this time.
no. So here comes the damage roll. This is +2. 7. It's immobilised again. Oh, blown up. Having eliminated the Sons of Horus Fire Raptor, we're going to turn the remaining guns on what's left and see if we can't wipe it all out. First of all, we're going to start with my Fire Raptor. The Fire Raptor did jink last turn, but of course, power of the Machine Spirit. Why the Imperium doesn't put Machine Spirits on everything, I don't know. Anyway, he has got power of the Machine Spirit, and we're going to use it to fire the ball turret into the side of the Rhino. So we have 4 shots, hitting on 2s, twin-linked. Twin-linked. And then it's Strength 7, Side Armour 4. I need 1 glance to take it out. That's 2 pens, so that's more than enough. Turn 5, and it comes down to this. Everything else of the Sons of Horus is either a smoking wreck or a corpse on the field. There's 1 remaining sergeant with his artificer armour on, bravely looking to try and make a stand till the end. My javelins, however, are going to see if they can do something about that. So we're going to open fire with both javelins together, and then if he's still alive after that, we'll move on to something else. But let's do the javelins first. So we're going to start with the 2 multi-melters. They're both hitting on 2s because of strafing run. I'm going to roll those now. So on 2s. We've got 2 multi-melt hits. These are AP2 and strength 8, so 2s to wound. So we've got 2 AP2 wounds on him. Do you want to do anything special, Chris?
Of course, he's last survivor on the battlefield. He has a little bit of pride, if nothing else. So I'm going to go to ground, 2 6-ups to stay in the game.
Ooh.
I'll get 1, but can't quite do it.
That's it. A wipeout. We have not had a wipeout on the channel for a very long time. But Dan, the wipeout was in your favour, so congratulations.
It was. I'm a terrible person. I'm very sorry.
Yes, Chris. I mean, for me, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but for me, Chris, I think it was your third turn, was it? It was second or third turn?
It was my second turn when my reserves came in. I went full on, real risky. It was either going to work really well or, as happened here, end up going badly for me. Leaving 2 free vehicles on 1 hull point. If that had gone 1 more hull point, that could have been a completely different game.
I think it was a case of you need a couple more 4s every now and then, and half of Dan's vehicles would have just been wrecked.
Yeah.
Limiting that firepower later on in the game.
Yeah, it may have been a wipeout, but I can't complain of that game with how close it was, even up to the end.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those games classically where the score, as we'll get to in a moment, it's not reflective of how close the game was.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it looked like it ran away towards the end, but really, the turns 2 and 3 were absolutely crucial in here, which was really interesting. So let's have a quick review of the victory points. Now, don't forget, we had Warlord, Attrition. We had a thing where if you killed more Thalax than the other, I was really pleased that, the Thalax didn't one-shot any of your vehicles. It didn't have a massive impact on the game, but contributed to the death of the Sakaran.
It did. It was quite scary when it took a whole point off the Sakaran.
Yeah, but Chris, your Contemptor smashed, 2 units of Thalax.
Yeah.
Or 2 Contemptors.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little bit of a habit of that. 24 wounds done to the Thalax. That gave them that victory points early on. Maybe made me a little bit too cocky knowing I was already up. But they got a bit of bragging rights at least. But
they were good as well because those Thalax, it kind of bridged that gap a little bit. So you made your charge and you consolidated after, and it helped you slingshot a little bit as well, I think, as well.
Yeah, they gained the ground. Made a much bigger threat. Dan had to shoot them at that point.
Yes,
otherwise they were going to ruin his tanks.
Absolutely. And then don't forget in the compounds, at the end of the game, it was 2 victory points for a scoring unit, 1 for a denial, but the denial minus 2 victory points off your opponent. As it stood, the Imperial Fists scored 7 victory points. And now, Chris, you did score 3 victory points, or 2 rather. But unfortunately, there was a few negatives there, which brought you actually down to -3. So we've just called it a 0. So
for the Imperial Fist players watching, I managed to get 7 on purpose, and nobody can tell me that it wasn't intended to be like that.
See what you did there. But also as well, your Delegatus, it gave away 2 victory points, didn't it?
Yeah, it's always a risk. I mean, it's a little bit less of a risk than straight up Pride of the Legion because you're not giving away 2 victory points straight up. If he had survived, Dan would have been down 1 point, I would have been up 1. So it's worth the risk, really, but it's an unfortunate role where he was on his own for a turn. He was never going to make it back from that.
No, true. And you did make some really great go-to-ground saves.
Yeah, the saves were quite good all day, I must admit. It started with a Thalax turn 1.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It just came back to bite me with armour penetration rolls, to be fair.
That's a shame, eh? No one goes to ground on the channel, but Chris is quite a favourite. I like it. I love it.
Game of first. We like that.
Indeed. Now, you brought back some units. So, Dan, we'll start with you, the Victor. Yeah. Tell us about your Fire Raptor.
So, I held off because I had the Damocles Commander Rhino, I was able to hold the Fire Raptor back until Chris's had come on.
Yeah.
With only one flyer on the side, I thought it was going to be critical when that came on and what it could do as a consequence. So it was a bit of a gamble. I knew I had a really good chance of bringing it on when I wanted to, and I would have to weather the storm of Chris's Fire Raptor doing its thing before mine came on. However, holding it back and then bringing it on, I think that was a really decisive turn for me.
Well.
It did a lot of damage when it came on. The Alpha Strike was great. And whilst it didn't necessarily destroy stuff outright, it did destructed quite a lot through making things forced to jink. Certainly disrupted the javelins in my back lines, which were going to cause havoc otherwise.
Yeah.
And gave my jet bikes a chance to get in and do the thing up close, basically.
That was good. And Chris, you brought out one of your speeders.
Yeah, it was a tough call for me between my Fire Raptor and the speeders. So I've brought one javelin back, kind of representative of all three. My Fire Raptor came in, it did a bit of damage, but its biggest impact was dictating what the Imperial Fists then did, whereas the javelins were steadily just plinking hull points off of tanks. They nearly got there, but the jet bikes caught up in the end.
Yeah.
I just couldn't quite do it.
Yeah, you just had a couple of really unlucky pen rolls, but it would have changed the face of the game, or the course of the game rather, if you had gone through. But yeah, great choices. We also discussed at some point as well how much of an impact of both Fire Raptors had on the whole game, and I think it would have been quite a different game without them, if I'm honest with you. It's quite a powerful unit, isn't it?
Yeah, the amount of shots, because obviously you come in, you put 4 missiles one way, 2 Reaper batteries one way each, plus then the Gatling cannon on the front. It's 5 different units being affected. Well, 4 units, I should say, affected. If they all go through and that's 4 dead tanks, that's game over.
Yeah.
It's got huge potential.
Yeah, they're quite a beefy unit. Now, before we go, we do have a couple of mentions. So, as we said, Chris is a member of Legion of Peterborough here, which is a club which you can come and play on all the tables against a lot of the guys that appear on the channel here. But you also run or go to your own club, don't you?
I run a club over towards Kings Lynn area. It's in one of the villages on the outskirts. It's on Facebook as Taz Gaming Club.
Great.
Still trying to grow. It's only been going just under a year. There's a lot of 40k players at the minute, but there's still a dedicated HERESY following.
Cool.
So if anyone is local to that area, anyone like Norwich area, or just fancies a trip, it's on a Wednesday evening, give us a shout on Facebook and we'll sort you out with an opponent.
Great stuff. So yeah, I'd love to see you at the club there. That'd be cool. And Dan, you've got a couple of things to talk about, haven't you?
Yeah. So first of all, my local gaming club as well, for which I'm still the secretary. I've tried many times through embezzlement and misappropriation of funds to get evicted off the thing, but I'm still there. Leicester Fat Cat is in its 18th year.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, how mad is that?
Jeez.
Again, we're based in Leicester. We play a whole range of stuff. Got a huge Blood Bowl scene as well. But HERESY's taken off in a big way. We're running an escalation campaign at the moment called Bale Stars.
Great.
We're at 1,500 points. If you've got 1,500 points of HERESY, come and have a game. Also, I'd like to mention Phosphex Party, which is our podcast, which is just a few of us HERESY nuts at Leicester Fat Cats, where we talk about all sorts of random stuff. We don't just talk about HERESY. We're expanding out to Adeptus Titanicus when that's released, and potentially as well, there are some online rules for Epic HERESY as well, which some of the guys play.
Nice.
So we talk about a range of stuff, everything HERESY related, basically. And you can find us at Phosphex Party on either iTunes or SoundCloud.
Great stuff. Please go to those guys I listen. I'd love to have you listen to them in the car or whilst you're painting. That'd be a very great thing.
Not safe for work.
Okay.
just fair warning. Not safe for work.
Good to know. Now, I've taken loads of photos of this game. There's some really fantastic shots in here. You know, a lot of the Fire Raptors and some various bits and bobs staring each other's units down. If you want to ask these guys any particular question about the painting, about their lists, and you want to talk to them directly, it's a lot easier if you contact them rather than through me. Chris, where can we find you?
Mine is quite appropriate given the army, War Masters Equerry.
Fantastic on Instagram. And Dan?
I am Party and Shot, which probably appears
somewhere. Yeah. If I've done my job right, they'll appear.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. All that remains to say is thank you, James, so much for coming. 2 really lovely guys and 2 fantastic armies. We'd love to have them back, whether against each other or certainly against other opponents. But you're both not very far to the channel, which is absolutely fantastic. So no doubt we'll see these guys again. Please go to the Facebook page. Please like, follow, usual sort of stuff. We'd love to hear what you have to say about the game. And we'll see you in the next one.